meditation and yoga. So happy that you're all here together to do this together in a group. It's such a beautiful experience to be able to share this, even if it is through Zoom and not in person, as we would love to, I'm sure. So thank you, ladies, for being here, and let's welcome Kelly Arnold. Kelly, welcome. Thank you for being
Thank
here.
you. Thank you, Gloria. Again, it's always wonderful to be here with you all. I love this time of month where we can get together and as you said, we can talk a little bit about mindfulness methods and tools, and then we spend a little time meditating together, and then adding on that yoga piece at the end is just a beautiful experience. So I'm grateful to be here, and I thank you all for making the time to join as well. And so, as you know, I teach a lot about how we can incorporate mindfulness and meditation into our lives. And refreshing on, well, why does mindfulness matter? Why do we care to practice these types of things? So we know that when we practice mindfulness, which again is this exercise of trying to be present in this moment, not worried about the past, not fretting about the future, but trying to be here in the moment, that it's actually an exercise where we can focus our awareness. We can take ourselves out of our thinking mind. And when we can do that, we're able to take in whatever is happening at that moment with greater clarity and understanding. And then we just have a better feel for people and situations and things. I've almost explained it as like a spidey sense, or like this heightened level of awareness. And it's important because it helps us foster better decision making, more conscious choices, that leads to things that increase our health and overall happiness. And any activity can be a practice in mindfulness. I mean, we can make walking a mindfulness practice. We can even do mindful eating. We can do a number of things. Any situation like this, even practicing mindful listening, which is really getting into the moment, paying full attention to whoever that you're having that conversation with or listening to. And so tonight, my theme this week is around mindful chores. And I have this concept, and I like to talk about what I call daily mindful moments. And these are very brief snippets of self-care that we're able to weave into our already busy days, and woven into perhaps a routine that we might already have. We don't have to carve out a whole nother set of time, right? We know how difficult that is for some of us to do. And so we can use everyday tasks as an exercise in mindfulness. And so rather than going through our days kind of mindfully checking off our to-do list, right? And oh my gosh, I got to do this and this and this and this, irritated or even maybe begrudgingly having to do those things, we can take those few minutes or maybe seconds even of a mundane daily chore and have that serve as an opportunity for us to feel present and grounded. And it's something that I do often. I use my existing routine, whether I'm doing, things that you do every day, right? Dishes, laundry, making the bed, sweeping and cleaning up the house, and use those as moments, again, to practice mindfulness. These are times, again, where we might otherwise be lost in thought, right? Again, worrying about what's happening next or trying to solve some problem in our head while we're also, doing the laundry or washing the dishes. And so, again, we know that the goal of mindfulness is to increase our awareness of what's happening in this moment, and by allowing us to just slow down and observe, again, giving that thinking mind a rest. And so by just changing our perspective on chores can make all the difference. So I want to show you a quick YouTube video on how to make chores a mindful experience. And I came across this and I love it because these two ladies, I think it's a daily talk show or something like that. I'm not sure where it's at, but the host and then the style expert, but they actually talk about mindful moments. So I love it. And I want to show you that now so that you can just get somebody else's perspective on, again, how we can make chores a mindful moment. So let's take a look at that now. Here we go.
how can you transform the mundane into the mindful? Style expert Afia Francisco is here with strategies for turning household chores into mindful moments. Okay, when I saw this, I thought, all right, the last time I was cleaning my house, I thought to myself, I'm so over this. So I need you. How can we transform the mundane into mindful moments?
You know what? It's a great question because it's one of those things that most of us have chores that we have to do. Regardless of where we're at in life, there are certain things that just need to be done, whether that's laundry or the dishes. And so Whirlpool, I recently partnered with them, and they have a really great platform. It's called Everyday Care. And what it is that taking those everyday chores and turning them into acts of love. So if you can see them as something that you're giving to yourself and giving to your family members, then that may soften the feeling of it. And also just being mindful as you're doing it. So as opposed to just absent-mindedly going through the laundry, you're just throwing things in, and you're not thinking about it, and you're kind of begrudgingly doing it. Enjoying it. So we just saw how to make it a beautiful space so you're okay to be there, and then taking that time to just kind of appreciate what it is that you're doing. And when you're doing it in a way that it's not all at once, so you're not necessarily spending hours upon hours, which can be daunting and exhausting. You want to do it in succinct, quick ways. So that's a little bit every single day. And that sounds like a lot like, oh, every day I'm tired. But when you're doing something for 15 minutes, maybe 20 at a time, suddenly it doesn't seem insurmountable. And those 20 minutes add up to that time. So as opposed to giving it all at one shot, it's just a little bit every day so that you have that beautiful feeling every single day. So this is what mindful moments are, or mindful chores are. And it's thinking about that as acts of love. So even maybe getting your family in on the act. So for example, with your laundry, maybe it's your kids are helping you sort the colors. It becomes a fun game. Just throw the whites over there, throw the colors there, and that becomes something that maybe you can all do together. Maybe not. You know, some days are going to be better than others. We all know that with kids, things can ebb and flow. So some days they're going to be super into it, and other days you're going to just want to banish them somewhere else. But if we can give these activities as something that's a family affair, it also serves to make it a lot nicer. I mean, I'm a working mom. I'm busy. I know what it's like. And, you know, that's something that I try to implement, at least be aware of what I'm doing. And I find that that takes the edge off of it and makes it a little bit easier and something that, you know, becomes something that I'm proud to do and happy to do.
Absolutely.
You know?
And what about for those mindful moments when you're using your cleaning products, selecting products that, of course, are natural, but that have that great stress relieving scent? So maybe choosing something with lavender or vanilla.
Exactly, Denise. And this is it. So you're thinking about your environment as a whole. It's cohesive, it's holistic. So these are things that need to be done. But when you're thinking about it in this way, it's almost a very traditional, old school way of doing things. You think back to when families would darn their clothes and cook home cooked meals. I know that our schedules are different now, so it's difficult to always do this, but things were done with intention. It wasn't something that was begrudgingly done. It was something that was, you had pride of ownership of family member of doing it. Whirlpool also too, they have this great top loader, and what their whole thing is that the basin is huge so that you can get so many things in there and do it relatively quicker than a typical load. So we can see it here. It's just a beautiful set. And these are things that, again, they're encouraging you to have efficiency. So yes, you're doing this, but you're doing it efficiently. You're enjoying while you're doing it. And that is going to make all the difference to something that needs to be done. We know it has to be done, so you can change your perspective and maybe the way you approach it, and that would make all the difference.
And I like when you're talking about setting your intention. So you're choosing the intention of love. You're choosing the intention of creating family fun.
Yes.
And one of the other things I think that we need to do on a regular basis that helps set the entire day is making the bed in the morning. What are your thoughts on that?
I 100% agree with you. This is something that I was like, whatever, who cares? Like, that is not on my list of priorities, Denise, in the morning. I have totally changed my mindset about that because it really is something really nice to just, when you come home, that has been done. It just feels really nice. It really does not take long at all. And so again, it's these chores that we're thinking about that just, we're doing it every day. We're doing it with care, and you're not, again, letting it build up too much. You're doing a little tiny bit every day. And that even, I mean, this might sound sad, but I do mean it. If you have the perspective of it, it becomes a little bit of quiet time for yourself. It could become like almost a moving meditation. This is your time, right?
You get that time to think.
This is your time to think as you're doing your laundry, you're sorting it, it's actually can become something that you actually do enjoy. And I'm finding more and more people are saying that, like,
and I think you have to choose to enjoy it. Thank you for being here to help us figure out how to enjoy it. Up next, the mindful
Okay, so again, the idea of being able to take these things that we do every day anyway, right? These are things that have to get done. So changing our perspective on some of those to try to weave in these kind of more mindful moments. And they talked about doing things with an intention, right? And on our focused awareness on things. And so, what does actually doing a mindful chore look like? How do you actually go about that? So, they talked about the laundry, but even like doing the basic chore of sweeping or the dishes. So when it comes to that, much like when we go into meditation, one of the very first things we do to kind of ground ourselves in the present moment, to get ourselves out of that thinking mind, is to bring our awareness to our body. So for the act of, say, sweeping, you got the broom in your hand. The very first thing you want to do is, let me check what my body feels like. How is my posture? Is my posture feel okay? Am I standing erect but not too tight? Am I holding the broom in a way that's not going to tweak my hands, and then it's going to hurt me later? So again, bringing your awareness to your body, whatever the chore you're doing, and then grounding ourselves in the breath, right? We've done this a few times. The breath is always there with us. It is something that when we bring our attention to and we take a few deep breaths, we immediately pull ourselves out of that thinking mind and into the present moment. So again, back to the sweeping, I've got my posture. All right, let me take a few deep breaths. And then you begin to sweep. And then you can take an inhale, bring the broom towards you, exhale, push it away in that motion, right? Breathe in, breathe out. And so you effectively are timing the breath with whatever activity that you're doing. And again, in doing that, keeps us grounded in the present moment. Now, if much like in meditation, we're in that chore, whether it's sweeping or doing dishes, and we're doing really good, we're kind of centered in our breath and doing that mindful chore, we find that we've lost ourselves in some thought. It's just bringing yourself back, it's that exercise of bringing yourself back into the moment. And in this case, it's a chore. And so you can substitute many other activities for this, again, with the goal to slow down and to breathe. Again, rather than trying to get through the chore activity as quickly as possible, so you can just go on to the next one, you can take that time to really settle and be mindful. And you may notice that your mind calms down and as you go through that task. And so taking this kind of mindfulness approach to housework can make those things, believe it or not, go easier and maybe even seem more pleasant. I mean, some stuff, like I did this session earlier this week and somebody says, well, how do I make changing the litter box a more pleasant experience, or a more mindful experience? That's a little tougher. And I told them maybe involves holding the breath actually instead of breathing. But anyway, any chore, any household chore can be used. And so again, it's a way for us to get these daily M&Ms in where we may otherwise not be able to. It's strengthening that mindfulness muscle and cultivating this kind of Zen energy, right? This peaceful, calm energy. So I encourage you all to use some of your chores as a mindfulness practice and see how that goes. Okay, so I'll pause there. And then Gloria, maybe we'll go right into meditation and then see if there's any questions after that. Sound good? Okay. All right, everybody, let's get comfortable. Why don't you go ahead, and if you choose to stop your video, go ahead and mute your microphone just so we can drown out some background noise. And again, let's find a comfortable position. Go ahead and let your eyes close. Settling into your meditation posture for the next few minutes. You've got nowhere to go and nothing to do. And bring your attention to your breath. Just breathe naturally, not trying to force or control it. Just observing what it's doing. Now let's look to deepen our breath a little bit. The deeper our breath becomes, the more our body settles down and relaxes. We're going to try this lengthened breath. It's a breath exercise I think we've done in the past. And the idea is that we're going to inhale for a certain count, and then we're going to exhale for twice that count. So in this case, we're going to take a deep inhale to the count of 3, and then we're going to exhale to the count of 6. So let's give it a try. Take an inhale through your nose. 1, 2, 3. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Do that 2 more times at your own pace. Now let your breathing return to normal. Again, noticing that relaxed rhythm of the inflow and the outflow of your breath. Observing it as it moves in and it moves out. Now we're going to move into our So Hum meditation. This is a mantra meditation where we silently repeat a word or a set of words. Mantra means vehicle of the mind. So the idea is that this mental repetition, the vibration helps to settle our mind. The sound of So Hum mirrors the natural sound of our inhale and our exhale, and it helps us to move beyond our thoughts. And if So Hum doesn't resonate with you, you can use something else like other words or affirmations. You could simply follow your breath within, out, or say something like peace or love. You can always just follow your breath. Use whatever's comfortable for you. So now taking a slow, deep breath through your nose, think the word so. And then as you slowly exhale through your nose, silently repeat the word hum. Continue to allow your breath to flow easily with no effort on your part, simply watching it and silently repeating so hum with each inflow and outflow of the breath. And whenever your attention drifts to thoughts in your mind, sounds in your environment, or sensations in your body, gently return to your breath, silently repeating so hum. And allow that gentle vibration to take you deeper into silence. I'll watch the time and let us know when to finish. Continue to sit with your eyes closed. You can release that mental repetition. Bring your awareness back into your body. Just take a couple deep breaths here, preparing to re-engage. And before we finish, let's plant some intentions for living. Setting an intention in that silence we've just created is like planting a seed in some fertile soil. So here are 4 things that we can intend for in our days. And if you'd like, you can silently repeat them to yourself. Joyful, energetic body. Loving, compassionate heart. Reflective, alert mind. And lightness of being. Let those intentions go work their magic. And when you're ready, you can gently open your eyes. How was that? Hopefully y'all felt a little settling, a little calming down for a few moments. Yeah.
That was marvelous.
Good, good. I'm happy to hear it. Wonderful. So yeah, we'll see if there's any comments maybe or questions, Gloria.
Let's see, there's comments here. Sherry says, love the first Thursday.
Me too.
Yes, big fan. Thank you for being here, Kelly. Ladies, do you have any? Welcome, Kelly. Laura Smith says, yes, thank you. Refreshed. Vicki is saying, I appreciate, that was amazing.
Good.
Seema says, I appreciate you all. Ola saying, great and thanks.
Wonderful.
Any questions, ladies? And feel free to unmute yourself.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes. Wonderful.
Amal is saying awesome and thank you.
Wonderful. So that's available to us anytime, right? Anytime we can find ourselves to where we can briefly close our eyes and connect with our breath, we can find that, tap into that sense of calm.
Absolutely. And thank you so much. It's such a beautiful thing to incorporate to the practice of taking care of your home and your space, which is really like a double good thing that you're getting there, right? You're getting your home clean and you're going to be able to enjoy that clean space afterwards, but also while taking care of it to really, you know, be mindful about it and use it as a tool to center yourself and to gain that awareness and
You're
be in that.
so right. Yes, I totally agree. And I think you'll find as you may be able to do that yourself too, that it'll really change again, those chores, you know, they won't seem as much of a chore, but something that is more pleasant to do. And you know, you're getting, like you said, added benefit by doing it. Not only are you taking care of the space that you occupy, but then you're also in a way taking care of your headspace and your emotional well-being. So it is a wonderful thing, a wonderful concept.
Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you so much. Tiaja is saying, I look forward to this every month. And thank you, Kelly. And Natalia says, thank you. So thank you so very much. Will you be joining us for yoga?
I will be here for minutes. Yeah, I think I saw Sheila. Yeah.
Yeah, Sheila's here.
Gloria?
Sheila, welcome. Thank you for being here.
Of course, thank you. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Wonderful. Is everybody ready for some yoga?
Yes.
Can you see me fine?
Yes, we are.
Okay, wonderful. So I'm outside. Figure it is a beautiful day, so we can always have yoga anywhere, and that's the point of yoga, is you can do it anywhere and with anybody and any clothes on, basically, or without, if those of you want to be commando. So anyway, a couple of things that I want to target today is the lower back. We always work our core muscles, arms, legs, and all that, but I think we forget about the big muscle in our lower back. So I'm going to do a couple of we're going to be mostly on our mats. So what we're going to need is rolled up towel from the very beginning. We had the rolled up towel if you don't have the block. But there's two things to two ways you can use your towels. You can use it later as a how do you call this? As a band as well. So if you have a block, have a band or a towel, and we'll use both of them in a few minutes. But anyway, we're gonna be mostly on our back, on our abs, on our knees and arms, and no standing. We're gonna be really focusing more on our core muscles. So anyway, any questions before we start? No questions. Okay then. All right, let's bring ourselves in the moment. I'm gonna start my music. Let me know if the music is too loud. Okay, let's bring ourselves in the moment. Easy cross position or lotus pose. We can place one foot on top of the other or one foot in front of the other, whatever, however flexible our knees are. Closing our eyes. Inhaling and exhaling through the nose. Sending our shoulders back and down. Stacking the ears over the shoulders. Bring ourselves in the moment. Inhaling, fanning the arms up, bring the arms overhead. Exhaling towards it. One more time, inhaling with the arms overhead. Exhaling towards it. From here, we place the left hand on the side. Bring the right arm overhead. We're not letting our right glute lift. We're slowly reaching towards the left side without lifting one side of the glute hips. A couple of breaths here. Inhaling, going back up. Exhale, placing the right hand on the mat, left arm overhead, reaching. Forming that letter C from your hips to your fingertips. And slowly coming back, set. Placing the right hand, the left knee, left arm behind, facing the left shoulder. Keep your shoulders away from the ears, so we drop our shoulders. And slowly going back, center, switching sides, left hand on the right arm behind, facing the right shoulder. And going back. From here we go to all fours, placing our knees directly into our hips and our wrists directly into the shoulders. Letting our knees go hip width apart. Let's do the cat cow, warming up our upper body. Inhaling, dropping the abs, lifting the head, cat cow. Exhaling, round the back in cat. Sending chin to the chest. Let's do a few more, moving at our own pace. Couple more for each pose. One more for each pose. And from here, we release to neutral spine, flattening the back, so we're not dropping the abs, we're not lifting the abs, we're keeping them in neutral spine like a tabletop. Let's warm up in alternating arms and leg raises. Inhale is in the right arm forward and the left leg behind. Gazing towards the mat. Exhaling and lower. Inhaling, switching sides. Left arm, right leg. Exhale and lower. Moving at our own pace. Let's try to move just the arms and the legs. Our torso is very still. Our core muscles tuck towards our ribs or spine. Couple more for each side. One more for each side. And letting the knees, arms and knees go quiet. Going back to tabletop. Let's sit in child's pose. Reminding ourselves we can get to this pose whenever we need to. Let's do the chaturanga from child's pose. Spreading the fingers, step the arms forward. Inhale and coming up. Exhaling, send the chest forward, elbows in. Releasing to up dog. Going back to child's pose. Let's do a few more. Sending your chest forward of the wrists. Going down, elbows towards the ribs. Lifting up. Going back to child's pose. Let's do a couple more. Extending the arms. The elbows are not on the mat. Inhale, coming up. Exhaling, extending elbows in. And release. One more time. Inhale, coming up. Exhaling, extending elbows in. And releasing that. So stay here. So let me make sure that you can see me. Any questions from this moment, please let me know. Oops, going down on the mat. Placing the hands like almost like a 90 degrees from your shoulders. We got from here, we're going to do the skydiver stretch or the skydiver work. Inhaling. On the exhale, we'll lift the arms. If we can, we'll lift the legs. Letting the shoulders point towards the knees, and we go back down. What I mentioned earlier, inhaling. On the exhaling, coming up here and pausing. Drawing the navel towards spine. Exhale low. A few more. Inhaling. Wrist lifted. Exhale low. Couple more times. Inhaling on the exhale, we'll lift up. Letting the shoulder blades go towards each other. And lower. One more time. Inhale. Stay here a little longer. A couple of breaths here. Inhaling and exhaling the nose. And slowly go down. From here, place our elbows on the mat, lifting up. Nice relaxation for the lower back. When we work all the time, walking or standing pose, this is a good relaxation for the lower back. Stay here. After your breath if you need to. Warm outside, so I'm kind of shaking. I'm sweating. If you want to do a full stretch on the lower back and the abs, I should say, come up and letting the knees stay on the mat. Those of you who are more, lift the knees off the mat, keeping your shoulders away from the ears. Couple of breaths, and slowly going down. From here, let's go to child's pose. Let's relax those lower back. Extending the arms forward. Now if you want to do the frog, we open your knees farther apart. And grabbing the abs in between the legs. Just another progression here, so if you're more, bring the feet farther away from each other. And setting the glutes closer to the mat. And slowly coming back. Let's bring ourselves to staff pose. Extending our legs forward, putting your toes forward or towards the sky. We're not down here, we're up here. and release. Placing the hands by the side, the weight is not on our hands. Or we place the hands on the lap. The shoulders are backing down. Relax the shoulders. Inhaling, bending the arms. Exhaling, forward fold and side pose, placing the hands on the calves, ankles, or heels. The belly can reach as long as the legs are straight. On the inhale, we lift our chest. Exhaling, send our chest towards the mat. Bending the knees if we need to. And slowly coming back. From here, we're going to do the boat. Let's bring our knees or shins parallel to the floor of the mat, the ground. Stay right here, drawing the navel towards the spine. Extending the arms, the hand. Or keep your hands on the hamstrings. Move by the side. By side, I should say, or towards the front. As long as we're not curving our back, keeping our chest open. Hands here if you need. And slow release. From here, we go down on the mat. Remember the towel, the rolled up towel, or the block. I'm going to use the towel. It's the same way how we use the block. So we're going to start with the upper back. So I'm going to place this towel right over here. So it's just above the higher part of my lower back. And from here, I bring my arms by the side, opening our chest towards the sky, closing our eyes. Make sure you can see me. Towels right here. The abs are drawn towards the spine, the hands are open. Gonna add a little more. Bring the feet to 90 to butterfly and relax. If you're using the block, stay where you are. If you're using the block, make sure that you are parallel to the longer part. It's not this way, we're this way. So I can really show that with the block and slowly coming up or coming down and relax. One more breath here. And slowly helping ourselves up with our hands. And we're going to move the block or the towel this time. The block is perpendicular to our body. Lifting our hips a little bit and then placing the block or the towel underneath. Using our hands, let's guide our upper body down on the mat. Once our body's down there, we can always adjust the block. Extending the legs, bring arms by the side. Now, if this is too much, we can keep our knees together. Feet on the mat, knees together, navel still drawn towards the spine. If we want more, we have the butterfly, insoles together. Or we can just extend the legs. Relaxing the hips, relaxing the shoulders. We're breathing, we're not holding our breaths. A couple more breaths here. And slowly placing your feet on the mat, lifting the hips. Let's remove the block. Let's grab our band or our towel. If we have a towel, let's make it, fold it the long way. Now we have the long towel. Let's place the towel around the right foot. Let's extend the left leg. It's just relaxing on the mat. Let's use our hands to bring our legs closer or the thigh closer to the chest. Just pulling onto the towel. Find where we can feel the stretch without hurting ourselves. If we need to, we bring the left leg, right leg back up. Let's try to keep that right leg straight. We're still breathing. And releasing. From here, we keep the right hand around the towel or the band, left hand on the side. Let's send the right leg to the right side. If our left hip starts to lift, let's bring the right leg slightly back towards center. If If we want one more stretch on the back of the leg at the same time, let's pull the towel towards the right shoulder. We're still breathing. One more breath here. And let's bring the right leg back center. Let's switch hands. Left hand around the towel or the band, right arm on the floor, palm facing the floor. Let's bring the right leg across the body. This time the shoulders should be flat on the mat. If the right shoulder starts to lift, let's bring the right leg towards it. Let's work with where we can without hurting ourselves. Gazing towards the right shoulder, it will help keep that shoulder closer to the floor. Couple more breaths here. And releasing back. Switching legs. Placing the towel around the left foot. Extending the right leg. Using our hands, let's pull the towel towards, or let's use our hands to pull the towel, the legs towards chest. Feel a stretch on the back of the left leg. Backing off if we need to, adding on if we can. We're still breathing. And from here, keep the left hand around the towel, right arm on the floor, sending the left leg towards the left side, keeping both sides of our hips flat on the mat. If the right hip starts to lift, let's bring the left leg back center. If we want more stretch at the back of the left leg, let's pull the towel or the leg towards the left shoulder. And slowly coming back center. Switching hands, right hand in around the towel or the band, left arm on the floor, palm facing the mat, sending the left leg across the body. This time, both sides of our shoulders are flat on the mat. If our shoulder starts to lift, let's bring the left leg back towards it. Gaze towards the left shoulder will help keep that shoulder down on the mat. Couple more breaths here. And slowly going back. We're done with the mat, or sorry, the towel or the band. Let's place it aside. We're going to do an inversion this time. So if you have a shoulder problem, let's just lift the legs up here and just the hips off the mat. If we can, keeping the shoulders away from the ears. Pressing our palm on the mat, let's send our legs overhead in plow position. We don't need to touch the floor with the toes. We're now moving the head to protect the neck as well. The chin away from the chest for more breathing space. If we need help, we place the hands on the hips and the elbows in the mat. Otherwise, hands on the mat. Couple more breaths in plow. From here, we place our hands on the hips, elbows on the mat if they're not there yet. Bending the knees. If we actually want to work more on the core muscles, keep the hands by the mat and using our core muscles. Let's slowly bring our hips back down on the mat. And slowly release. Rocking side to side. From here, we're going to do figure 4. Right ankle over the left knee. Left hand between the legs, both hands behind the left hamstring. We're going to do the figure 4. Sending the left leg or left knee towards the chest. We can stay right here with our shoulders on the mat. Or if we can, we'll lift our chest, setting it forward towards the left knee. Our shoulders are still away from the ears. One more breath here. And slow release. Switching legs, left ankle over the right knee, left hand between the legs. right hand behind the right hamstring. Sending the right knee towards the chest. Adding the shoulder up if we can. Our shoulders are away from the ears. And we're breathing. One more breath here. And I didn't mention that we're gonna work on the core muscles a little more. So what we're gonna do is we lift the legs towards the sky, pointing the toes, drawing the navel towards the sky. Bringing the arms by the side, lifting the shoulders, gazing between the legs. And we're gonna pump the hands. We're just gonna do a short count here. Let's do 50 instead of 100. Pump the hands. We're breathing. 10, 20 more. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And we lower. That's actually less than 50. And release. Extending the legs forward. I also did mention that we're going to work on the lower back. So place the hands underneath the glutes. Using our navel's drawn towards the spine. Using our elbows. Let's slowly come up. We're in fish pose. Facing towards the back without letting the head drop too much. Drawing the navel to the spine. We're in fish pose. Those of you want to add a little ab work here, lift the legs off the mat. You can do a little scissor kick if you want more. Or just lift it, or legs on the floor. Couple more breaths. And slow release. Good job, everybody. Send the knees back to the mat, or to the chest. Let's do this, the windshield wiper, as some people call it, or just knees side to side. And from here, we're gonna do the happy baby, grabbing our big toes with our index and middle finger, or we wrap the hands around the feet, whichever is comfortable, and bring knees to about 90 degrees. The shoulders and the tailbone are pressed towards the mat. If you want to do an alternating knees right here, or just moving side to side, if you don't want to be in static pose and be more dynamic, you can always do that. Or we can just stay in a static pose in happy baby. And from here, we can always move the hand placement around the calf, ankle, or we keep it around the big toe. We extend the legs. Tailbone and shoulders are still pressed towards the mat. And so we're going back to happy baby. Extended legs on the mat. I'm going to challenge your abs a little bit more here before we go to final stretch. Extend the arms overhead. You can always just push yourself up, just seated pose. Or you extend the arms overhead. Inhaling, draw navel towards spine. On the exhale, we slowly peel our shoulders or our spine away from the mat without lifting the legs. Bring the arms overhead. And good job, everybody. Then I'll make sure I'm on my mat. From here, we're gonna do the butterfly in a seated pose. Bring your insoles together. Inhaling. On the exhale, we send our chest towards the mat. Bring our knees closer to the mat or the floor. If we can, we bring the arms forward of the mat. Or just keep them on our thighs or heels. And slowly coming back center. Extending the right leg forward, placing the left hand on the right knee. Right arm behind, reaching up and over the head, reaching towards the left toes. The goal is keeping the right leg straight. We don't really have to touch the toes with the left fingertips. We just need to keep those legs straight. And the shoulders have to be open as well. They're not facing the thighs. We're breathing. And slowly release. Sending the left hand behind, lifting up and reaching. Open your chest towards the sky. And back. Switching legs, extending the left leg this time. Bending the right knee. Left hand on the right knee. Right arm behind, reaching up and over the head, reaching towards the left toes. Remember, we keep the left leg straight. You don't have to reach for the toes. Keep your chest open. We're not facing the thigh with the shoulders. Okay, stay right. And so we're coming back up. Place the right hand behind, lifting the chest. Open your chest towards the sky. And forward. And from here, we're gonna go to hero pose, sitting in our heels. We're gonna do one more back strengthener. So we're gonna come up to our knees. We have a few options. The first option is forming fists with the hands, placing the fist between the lower back and the glutes. Drawing the navel towards the spine. And slowly send the shoulders behind. We can stay right here. We can stay high if we need to. Those of you who are more, place the hand on each heel, left hand on the left heel, right hand on the right heel, and opening the chest. And always back off if you need to. And slowly coming back down to child's pose, relaxing the lower back. Good job, everybody. We're gonna proceed to rabbit, placing the hands behind, interlacing the fingers. Lifting the glutes from the heels, placing the crown of the head on the mat. Send your arms towards the head. And releasing back to child's pose. We're gonna stretch the toes as well. So remember, from the very beginning, we had this program. We grip the toes. If this is too much, keep the hips higher. If you can, sit on the glutes. And I'm gonna face you so you can see my shoulders as well. Keeping your shoulders away from these. If you need to, you just flip the toes if you're sitting on your heels. We're gonna do a shoulder roll or a head roll, going to the right side or whichever direction you want to start with. Slowly doing a complete 360, going to the shoulder we started with, and going the reverse direction. And releasing. From here, we drop both shoulders down, keeping the head above the right shoulder. Left shoulder is down, right shoulder is down. Slowly sending the head towards the front, closing your eyes if you wish. Slowly send the head just above the right shoulder. And slowly towards the back. And let it roll behind. And going to the other, above the other shoulder, the left shoulder. The right shoulder is away from the ears, the left shoulder is away from the ears. Sending the head slightly towards the front. And above the left shoulder. And slide towards the back. And slowly coming back. Drawing in one complete 360. And releasing. We can go back to this lotus pose. Bring the feet, one foot in front of the other, or on top of the other. Or you can do the knotted one, which I don't prefer because it gives a lot of stretch on the knee. And we're pretty much done. Inhaling, fanning the arms up. Exhaling towards center. One more time, inhaling. Exhaling towards center. The light in me sees the light in you. Namaste.
Thank you so much, Sheila, for being with us this month again. We always enjoy it. Ladies, do you have any questions for Sheila? Hi, Som. Do you have questions for Sheila? We can't hear you.
I want to say thank you because my shoulders is so right now it's much better.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. Yeah, if
Thank
you
you,
drop
Sheila.
those shoulders, you can really stretch without anybody touching your shoulder. Yes. You're welcome.
And we have comments. We have Sharon and Rebecca from Healthy Denver Inc. That was so relaxing. Thank you, ladies, for joining us. And Benki Kunz, who's saying thank you so much, Sheila. Irina, who's saying my second dose of yoga today. That's awesome. You're super relaxed, I'm sure. Let's see. Angelica Santa Cruz, is there a printed guide to review or list to prepare for the next session?
There is no printed guide. We can do a printed guide. We can certainly plan on what, the next target is. I don't have any, how do you call this? I don't have any written guide, but if you want to, I can talk to Miss Amara and then we can come up with one. But otherwise, the more important part is basically come with an open mind. You don't have to have any the blocks or the towel. You can do a lot of things, but it would be nice to have a towel or a band around just in case. It also helps with some moves with towels underneath your knees, especially bony knees like mine. If we stay longer on our knees, we may need some padding. So I always recommend having a towel.
Very well. Let's see here. Yeah. Oh, is someone asking a question?
Yes, yeah, Gloria, I have question. Sometimes I feel numbness in my leg and my arm. Is any exercise here can I do to reduce this numbness in my leg and my arm?
I guess I really don't know. I can't really diagnose anybody. So I'm not quite sure what's causing numbness, but that may be because your system of slow blood circulation, because it's oxygen that brings the blood brings oxygen throughout your body, which prevents numbness. So if you have numbness in your hands and arms, there could be something else besides just being sedentary. So I would rather you talk to your doctor because I don't really know what's causing it. But if being active doesn't help, then it certainly needs to be looked at.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Someone else would like to ask a question? Okay, I'll keep reading the comments. Tiaja says, I like how we stretch the lower back. I really enjoyed that as well. I was having some issues. Let's see, Laura Smith, thank you. Those were great stretches. I could not do a few of them very well.
Would you like to be more specific and I can show you how you could do it better or at least accommodate what your body allows?
Laura, would you like to be a little bit more specific?
Oh, the last one. I think when we were on our knees, the lower back here. So is the one? Yes. Okay. So first of all, if you need padding, like I mentioned, towel, it's good for your knees. And you start with and make sure that your toes are gripped because that helps you from falling over. So the important part is make sure that you have your wrist here, and you don't have to go as far back as I did. I've been doing yoga for, I don't know, since 2004. So it's been 17 years. So I'm pretty flexible and sometimes too flexible for my own sake. So you just have to make sure that you go just slightly. And what if you feel like you're contracting, you're almost like your muscles are panicking, back off. You gotta do it little by little. You cannot shock your system, just like anything else. So if this is too much, just stay here and just make sure the navel is always drawn towards the spine and your tailbone is tucked. It cannot be up here. It has to be really tucked in because that's what supports everything else. And if this is too much, like I said, just start with maybe half an inch every so often, but you gotta be more consistent. You cannot not do it for a week and then go back and you see improvement. It has to be something. You can just do it every day. Like on a daily basis, you do some warm up or whatever so that your midsection is warm before you do this. I would advise not doing this the first thing that you do. The first thing I would suggest you do is the cat cow, because this warms up your core muscles and your back. And if you need to do some side bends, regular side bends, it works. But please don't do this the first thing when you are still cold.
Yeah, I find yoga is often like a practice in humility, right? Because sometimes we it's our ego that gets in the way and we want to do too much. And it's like, well, I should
Exactly.
be ego, right? Instead of just
Exactly.
humbly accepting what is and going gently and lovingly with your body, right?
Yes, we all have to start somewhere. Some people are just born more flexible, some are not.
Right.
And it takes a lot of consistency of the practice to get to the where the level you want to be. But a little bit at a time is an accomplishment.
And not every day do you have like the same flexibility even, right?
Yeah, correct. Because you don't know what you've done the day before or the night before or the day before you do the stretching. You know, sometimes when you do the leg flexing, if you've been walking the whole day and you suddenly try to flex and point, you will feel some what do you call this, tightness even on the arch of your feet. So those things are telltale that like you have to do some kind of adjustment in what you're doing. So instead of being this way, you have to be this way. So when I feel the I guess that my arch is tight, I don't even try to do this. I just do it this way. Whether I'm sitting or whatever, instead of pointing, I flex. And like every day, especially
Very
with
good.
balance and stretch, yeah, balance is also something that you have to adjust to on a daily basis, and one side of your body to the other side of your body.
Right, right. Let's see, we have Ayo who says that was great straight. That was a great stretch. I couldn't do much, but thank you. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's it. Well, I know we're a little over in time, but thank you
Yes, yeah.
so much, Sheila and Kelly. Thank you so much as well, both of you ladies. We are so grateful that you join us every month to help us keep us healthy and taking care of our bodies. So thank you so much.
Very welcome.
Wonderful. And thank you for Healthy Denver Inc. That has so kindly brought us Sheila. We are very, very grateful to them as well. Thank you, Healthy Denver Inc. Everyone have a wonderful evening and we'll see you soon.
Thank
Have a
you.
good June. Bye.